We're rolling towards the final month of competition for many of North Central's winter sports. We have both wrestling and swimming on to chat about their end-of-season push. We'll dive into the 17th national title the men's cross-country team won on this week's Cardinal Corner. And who will claim this week's Play of the Game? We'll get to all that and more next on the Cardinal Report.
The presenting sponsor for the Cardinal Report is Athletico, the preferred provider of physical therapy and athletic training for North Central College.
Welcome in. First up, wrestling. Let's take a look at how the season has shaped up to this point.
Starting the season out with Northwestern, the Cardinals made a point to wrestle the best on their way to being their best. North Central is led by seniors Leighton Binion and Vince Pizzo, and they're joined by former national qualifier Ben Williamson. With its deepest lineup in years and guys wrestling well up and down the depth chart, the Cardinals hope to hit their stride down the home stretch with an eye on the conference title.
Hey, Coach Joe Norton is on set, and Coach, welcome to the show. And first things first, we had the opportunity to broadcast one of the meets this year, and it was the Elmhurst meet. You ended up losing, but that was a lot of fun to watch. Up and down your lineup, you guys have some really skilled wrestlers.
Yeah, it was fun. I told a lot of people afterwards, if you're going to lose, that's probably the best way to do it, because we certainly entertain the crowd. So.
There was a lot of people there, too. It seems like the support has grown over the last 3 years during your tenure. Yeah,
the alumni, I think, have really gotten behind me as the head coach, which is cool.
Yeah.
A lot of them are guys that I wrestled with, or I knew them. They were alumni when I was a member of the team. So it's fun to have those guys come out. Some of them traveled from a little bit further away, so it's cool.
Now, CCIW schools, obviously high caliber, but you've gone outside conference this year and found some teams to kind of probably become a measuring stick for you guys, and you started it with Northwestern. How cool was that experience as far as getting your guys against elite caliber wrestlers?
It was fun. We dueled them a few years back, and then we hadn't done it in a little while. And their assistant coach is someone that I wrestled with in high school and reached out to me, and I said, yeah, let's do it. I expected to be a little bit more competitive than we were. I expected to win a match or two. Mm-hmm. But for some of our guys, especially some of those freshmen, their first ever competition was in a Big Ten arena. They were on Big Ten Network, that kind of stuff. So it was cool. It was fun. It was fun to be there and have all that going on.
Now you talk about the young guys. You have a big roster, and you guys are deep this year. Very balanced lineup, it seems like, where you guys compete match in and match out.
Yeah, I think that's one area where we've improved from when I first got here. Mm-hmm. We always had a few guys that we knew were going to be on, the national stage when the time came, but we weren't 2-3 deep of tough guys that are just getting after each other every day in the practice room. And when you really have to beat out 2 or 3 good guys to be the starter at your weight class, that's when you're going to be a quality guy. So
now, you mentioned just a moment ago, from the time you started here to now, you've seen growth. As far as instilling your own philosophy, have you felt like you've started not just placing it in, but it's actually causing success?
Yeah, certainly. There are some guys that come in. There's always freshmen with some hard habits to break, because there are things that will work at the high school level that won't work here. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like some guys, you got to break them all the way down and build them back up. But as long as they've got a mentality that they're going to do what we want them to do, and they're going to go hard every day. Usually we get them there. Some quicker than others, but by a guy's third year, if he's bought into what we're telling him to do, he's going to be pretty solid. So
now I want to get to the end of the season, because it's approaching fast for you guys, and it seems like you've been building this whole year, over the last 3 years, in fact, but you're in a very good place as you approach the conference meet.
Yeah, I feel like this is the first time we're going in, and I'm looking at our lineup and saying we have a solid guy, at all 10 weight classes.
Yeah.
And there's not an area I'm like, well, hopefully this guy can sneak out a win or not give up bonus points. I'm expecting every guy in the lineup to be in the top 3 in an 8-man bracket at the conference tournament.
It's got to be a good feeling as a coach.
Oh yeah, no, it's comforting, and it feels like hard work's paying off. So that's good.
Coach, I want to get your opinion on a couple of plays. It's time for Check the Tape.
This Cardinal Report segment is sponsored by M&M Rentals.
First sequence I want to get to is Leighton Binion, who's been on the national stage. He's right now, underneath, and all of a sudden, here he is getting the reverse.
Yeah, he does a good job there splitting his body with that, guys, and we talk about that. If we can get that arm free, we see Leighton get his left arm through there. That's going to give us usually at least one right here. Leighton does a good job of coming out on top and then just crowding with his hips and locking up a ride, which is important too, getting that guy flat on his belly.
Now this next one is a guy that's about to hop on set, Vince Pizzo, and
That's a
good
good high
strategy
crotch.
here.
Vince is really good at coming up with that. He either usually sits to that crackdown position or comes up and dumps that guy. And what's key there is you can see our right hand across his waist, locking up a tight waist, which is, again, securing a ride right away and keeping that guy from coming back up to his feet. That was picture perfect, that dump.
That takes some squats in the weight room, it
Yeah,
looks like,
for
too.
sure. Vince has worked hard in that position.
And then the last one is the last match of the night. It's Emonte Logan, and he's wrestling this big dude, and he just hammers him to the turf.
Yeah, we blasted him there. We knew that we were probably going to have to go feet to back because we needed a pin. And every time we took him down, he was just rolling to his belly. He was content giving up the loss, but not the pin. So Emonte knew we had to blow through him. Does a good job there. You can't really see it, but he gets his left hand high, which is what allows him to put that guy to his back. And that's about as close as you can be to a fall without getting it. But we worked really hard there.
Man, you guys are fierce up and down the lineup. Coaching staff, I'm sure you guys are thrilled. I'm sure in the locker room these guys are ready to go. But best of luck in the conference tournament. We'll be watching. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, we'll see if we can get it done.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. A couple of wrestlers join us on set. We'll be right back on the Cardinal Report. Vince Pizzo and Emonte Logan are on the show. And Vince, I want to start with you. Senior, you're one of the top leaders on the team in pins. You guys are finding a lot of success, and individually you're finding a lot of success as well. How have you been able to make that happen this year?
Last year I was working a lot with our sports psychologists at North Central because they offer sports psychology through the Dyson Wellness Center. Mm-hmm. And just working a lot with them individually has really helped me change my mindset about wrestling, and going into this year, I just sort of putting it all on the line. It's my senior year, just gonna have fun with it, and it's given me a lot of success so far. So
you haven't just changed your mindset; you've also changed weight classes as well. So I'm not a wrestling guy, so I've never been on the mat in that scenario. But what is the difference between wrestling at 197 versus what you're at right now, 184?
Mm-hmm. So 197, the guys are a lot bigger. Our 97 punter now, Tyler Vitale, he's a stud, man. He's a bigger guy, and moving guys like that is a lot harder than going down to 184 because they're still bigger, but they're not as big, and a little bit speed difference too. So.
Yeah, body type. It's 13 pounds, but it maybe the body type is a little bit different.
Because you got guys coming from 220 down to 197.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of leeway there.
Now, Emonte, I want to go to you. Obviously, we had you on the show, the Red Zone in the fall for football. I can imagine that football translates in some ways to wrestling. Does it?
Yeah, it definitely does. My competitive nature starts off with football, but when I come to wrestling, it just feeds on to that. Most of the time, I like the team aspect of football, and people sleep on the fact that wrestling is still a team sport.
Yeah.
And I think I like the team sport more than the individual aspect of it, only because I feed off everybody else's energy. So, that's pretty much what I get back from football.
I saw you when we were doing that Elmhurst broadcast. You were just stalking the sidelines, watching the match, getting ready for that last match of the night. Now, I noticed that on the football roster, you were listed at 255. Yeah. You were listed in the lineup wrestling at 285, but you actually cut weight for wrestling season, right? A little bit.
Not like intentionally. But, being in a room for 3 weeks after football, I naturally cut 15, 20 pounds. So I'm walking around at 245 right now. But there was a huge difference from football, and I feel like I'm in a better shape than I was before. Yeah. So.
But you're still going after guys that are up at 285.
Oh yeah, these guys are 280, probably 6'4", and sometimes it's difficult to handle, but at the same time kind of quicker than those guys. So I rely on that in my athleticism a lot. So I don't really bother.
It's a dangerous combination. Yeah. Let's talk about one guy in particular that's been there a while and has done it at a high level for a while, and that's Leighton Binion. Fun to watch that guy go to work.
He's a fun guy to watch. He does. He makes a lot of things happen from nothing almost. It seems like. But yeah, I've been with Leighton for 4 years now, and it's always been the same. He's always been super fast, super quick. You really don't know how he does it sometimes. It's actually it's kind of impressive.
Now, you guys have talked a lot about what happens in the weight room, not just during matches, but actually practicing. What's the culture like up there in the wrestling room?
The culture is like Pizzo said, it's no other. Like you go in there every day and you know that it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
You know that you got to get the most out of it today. Like every time I walk up the stairs, I always think about something I can get better at this day. Mm-hmm. It's not the same thing from like the day before or something like that, but I know that I need to get better at something each day, despite how hard the practice may be, or like what obstacles I may go through that day. So.
That's fun. With that competitive nature, what are the goals like that you guys set before the season?
Just, to leave it all on the line. I think that's the biggest thing, is that a lot of guys, especially in wrestling, they're afraid to get tired.
Yeah.
And something that Joe and our coaching staff really preaches is that you can't be afraid to get tired, because we know that we work harder than anybody in D3 and that we will always outlast guys, and so that is sort of our goal that we've set as a team, is that we're going to outfight you no matter where you're from. You're going to know that you wrestled a guy from North Central.
As far as you go as conference individually, as you guys look up and down the lineup, I'm sure guys are rearing to go and rearing to get to that spot and succeed.
Yeah, it takes time, but I mean, approaching the end of the season in conference and nationals and things like that, it's just a switch that you have to like flip up to the point where you need to turn it up, or you need to know what you need to do at this point in time, because it's coming to an end real fast. So, I mean, like it's no days off at this point. Yeah. You take every day like it's your last, every match like it's your last, every practice like it's your last. So, I mean, that's how I'm approaching this end of the season. So.
Well, before we get there, we have another broadcast of your guys against Wheaton, I believe, and some duels. So we'll be looking forward to that. Thanks for stopping by, and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Cardinal Corner is on deck. We'll be right back on the Cardinal Report. Domination. It's the only word that seems appropriate for the North Central men's cross-country program and its performance at this year's national meet. For more, we head out to Res Rec for the banner-raising ceremony on this week's Cardinal Corner.
This Cardinal Report segment is presented by Belgio's Catering.
How many remember running real track meets next door in Lerner? I mean, real meets. 33rd alumni meet. It's amazing, man. It's just unbelievable. Thank you all for coming. All of us here have been touched by Al and his influence with track and cross country. So without further ado, our mentor, my colleague, and my friend, Al Pearce.
Bob Lewis was on that original cross-country team. His wife, Carolyn, has graciously, year in and year out, we hope this tradition goes on, has made a banner for us, which we will be raising. Could you two stand up? Family stand up. I've been accused that I can talk for a long time, and I do like to talk. If I've got some kind of a message, but and I can talk a long time about these young men over here, but I'll tell you, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, they're inspired. I'm inspired. How
it was incredible. I can't describe it, and that's definitely going to live with me for the rest of my life.
NCTV really reflects the world around you, the world that you live in. We're there in the community and we're bringing that world to you. Whether we're out in a concert or we're out at a public hearing, we are in the community and we're bringing that to you online and on air.
We've got swimming coming up next, but before we get to them on set, let's take a look at the season.
In head coach Mark Schmitt's second season in control of both the men and women's team, the process is continuing to build the program from top down. The season's shining moments see personal bests being set and the team coming together outside the pool. With the conference meet right around the corner, the Cardinals look to take stock in what they have and compete at the highest level come February.
Welcome back into the Cardinal Report. Joining me first on set is head coach of the men's and women's swimming team, Mark Schmitt. And Coach, welcome to the show. How's the season going so far?
It's going great so far. We're on our 162nd practice of the year. Kind of brutal, but we're about 2 weeks away from our conference swim meet, so we're getting ready for that final stage of the season, resting a little bit more, and getting ready to swim fast.
It's kind of a long road, but that's also in a short period of time because you guys practice twice a day. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of dedication to do that, doesn't it?
It takes an immense amount of dedication. Swimming is one of those sports that doesn't get the glory that football or basketball would get, but it's something that you can do for the rest of your life. Yeah. So most swimmers stick with it. Even after they finish their competitive years, they'll usually continue to swim.
Now, at this point in the season, you obviously are fine-tuning things as you prepare for that conference meet. What are the things you guys have been working on over the course of the year?
Beginning portion of the season, we usually focus on building our aerobic base. So we do a lot of aerobic activities, usually a cardiovascular set that lasts about 45 minutes or so. Later on in the season, we fine-tune particular skills, like, for example, a start or a turn, or relay exchanges, those small little details that, can make or break a swim for somebody.
So you guys are coming off a strong competition, but it was a while ago, back in December. What were the takeaways from that meet?
The takeaways from that meet would be, what we really need to work on going into the final portion of our season. We had about 4 weeks of training since that competition, and it's really been focused on, what did we learn from that meet? What do we need to improve on, and those final little changes that we need to make going into our conference meet.
As a swimming team, how do you evaluate where you are if you're not in competition? Is that a difficult process when you're constantly in the practice pool, but you're not necessarily going up against a starting gun?
We usually try our best to simulate a racing situation in practice. So we'll get up on the blocks and read off times to people just so they can see where they are right now. Set goal times. You want to be within a certain amount of time of your best time or your in-season time, so you're able to see where you are.
Do you guys swim for fun and personal bests? The Al Carius credo?
Yeah. Similar to that. I'd like to, my own philosophy is swimming fast and having fun. When you swim fast, you have fun. And when you have fun, you usually swim fast.
We talked about this back at the very start of the school year when we met with the Dennis Ryan Memorial. You taking pieces away from what he was able to do in his time here. Now that you're in your second year, have you found some of that translating into success?
A little bit. I still have quite a bit to learn. Dennis Ryan was a fantastic coach. He achieved incredible feats with what he had. So I have a long way to go. Hopefully within 27 years, I'll have the same resume of achievements.
You guys are now obviously tuning up for the conference meet. What are the expectations for that?
My expectations for the team is that we really come together, be supportive of each other, swim fast and have fun.
When you guys come and you guys decide, what your expectations are, obviously to have fun and swim fast, but how as a coaching staff and as a team do you look back on that once it's done and say, what can we take from that and how do we improve upon our performance?
Usually I sit down with my assistant coach at the end of the season and we reevaluate what we've done, what worked well, what can we change moving forward, with the goal of always improving season after season.
And then recruiting-wise, because obviously recruiting is a year-round, event for the coaches at the college level, what kind of people are you trying to bring into the program?
I'm looking for people that can balance the academic and athletic portion. I ask a lot of my athletes, and I understand that, being a Division III team, you're probably not going to go professional, especially in swimming, since it's not, a professional sport. What I'm looking for is people that can balance the academics and athletics and have a successful career. I want swimming to be something that they can be as a stress reliever. I want them to focus on their academics and then come to practice and then just leave it all in the pool and then go back to classes.
There's a lot of lessons to be learned, though, because we were talking offset. You guys are swimming at 6 a.m. I mean, that just teaches you dedication, but also just being able to stick with something and work through things.
Yeah, I would say probably the best thing that you can get out of being a swimmer is time management. If you have morning practice and then you go off to class, and then you have afternoon practice and then you go to work, there's a lot of things that are going on during your day. So, and it usually translates well into the world after your college career of, being able to, get everything that you need done during your day.
Well, Coach, thanks for stopping by and best of luck at the conference meet.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Coming up next, we have a couple of the swimmers joining the set. We'll be right back on the Cardinal Report. A couple of swimmers join me on set, Tabin, Vrba, and Luke Gentile. Welcome, guys. Thanks for hopping on. Tabin, let's start with you. Season is in its waning process right now. You guys are going towards conference. How would you sum up the year at this point?
It's been a lot of work so far. We're a fairly young team. I'm one of two upperclassmen. So we're in the ending stages of a rebuilding year. So.
Is it kind of fun being one of the older guys on a young team?
It is. It's a lot of fun. Especially, this is my first year back to swimming. I took a little time off after high school. So it's really interesting coming back and then seeing all these younger guys that are faster than me.
Do you feel like a younger guy because you're kind of returning to the sport?
When I started, I did. First few weeks there, and now I feel like an old man.
I honestly thought you were a freshman when you first got there.
Luke, this is your second year, too, so you're probably, I know you're only a sophomore, but it's kind of as if you're a veteran, right?
On the guys' team, I'm tied for the most time on North Central. Yeah, because the only other guy on the team is a senior, but he's the only other returning swimmer along with someone else, but we all have just 2 years.
Wow.
And so it's a strange feeling to be a sophomore, but one of the main veterans.
By the time you get to senior year, you're going to be called grandpa by the rest of the team because you've been around so long, right? That's crazy. But workout-wise, as one of the guys that's been returning, trying to help the people that are coming into the program, shaping kind of the feeling, the atmosphere with the team. What's that been like for a guy like you?
Trying to shape the workout atmosphere, basically just trying to work hard and doing your best. I don't care how much weight someone's doing. I just care that they clearly have a lot of effort, are clearly sweating and trying.
Is it more lead by example, or is it kind of, verbal as well?
Lead by example. Not the most verbal. I probably should be more, but I'm not the most verbal person out there. So it's more that hope they're watching this because I'm not going to tell them about it.
Well, you can't really be verbal in the pool now, can you? Because obviously, half the time your head's in the water. Well, more than half, I hope. But as one of the older guys, how have you tried to balance, your workouts, but also trying to get other guys to where they need to be?
It's a lot of just having fun. I find that if everyone's having fun, we can accomplish more as a team than we thought we could. So the other day we did descending 100s, And
that doesn't sound.
It is not fun. It is not. It is probably one of the hardest practices we have.
Yeah.
And just in the first few runs, just making sure everyone's smiling still. While we still have
before it happens.
Before it happens.
What it starts to set in?
Yeah. So how it goes is we start with a 100, which is 4 laps, and you do it at a minute 45, and then every time you do one, a second drops, and then a second drops.
Whew.
So very quickly it becomes a pretty intense workout.
What's strange is how quickly it becomes intense. Like it's easy, kind of tough, and then impossible.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
It sounds like, I don't know if you guys did this in high school, but the pacer test. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
Yep.
Is it kind of like that?
Yes.
It is the pacer test of swimming.
Oh my gosh. I didn't like it back then. I can't imagine it's very easy now. But you guys are headed towards conference. I'll go to Luke for this one. Expectations for what you guys are trying to do.
My expectation is to do well.
Yeah.
Last year at conference, I had all personal bests.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so this year I'm hoping to do at least hopefully similar.
Yeah, keep trying to set that bar high.
Yeah.
As a team, what's the feeling as you guys progress towards it? Optimism?
There is some optimism.
Optimism, definitely.
Yeah.
I feel more confident in this team than I did last year.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really cool.
I think we're definitely closer as a team. I wasn't here last year, but
we're closer.
Comparatively, we are closer.
Now, from the start of the year to now, things like that kind of take shape. So it's kind of cool that if out of the swimming pool you guys are close, obviously it'll kind of result in the pool, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's take a step away from swimming and go to the quick hits real quick. 3 questions that have nothing to do with what you guys are in the pool. Kind of, actually. I have one question. We'll go first to Tabin. Your favorite stroke?
Favorite stroke? I'm learning backstroke right now.
Yeah?
Which is kind of weird to say after swimming for like 15 years.
You've done it before, I'm sure.
I have done it before, and I can do it. I've never been very competitive at it.
Yeah.
So kind of filling in a slot in our medley relay with it is.
You got to pace yourself off the flags, right?
Yeah.
To kind of know where you are, otherwise you're going headfirst into a wall.
Right.
How about you, Luke?
I'm a breaststroker.
Breaststroke, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What about breaststroke? Anything in particular? You just...
I kick.
Nice.
He does have one of the strongest kicks on the team.
Does he?
Yeah. But during kick sets, he's like...
That's always fun to watch, that one guy that just gets it. Let's go with your favorite food at Kaufman.
For lunch now and then, they do a chicken parm.
Yeah.
Or the egg burgers.
Oh, those are good.
We got the same answer in the fall with the football team, the chicken parm. Not even kidding. You said egg burgers?
Those egg burgers are good. They have some lasagna that I really like.
Last thing for you, let's go with your favorite destination on campus for studying.
I always find that the library gets really packed.
Yeah, it does, right?
Yeah. Either the Boiler House or I've done Carnegie.
Luke, how about you?
I live in Ward, and in the downstairs of Ward, there's a classroom, and no one's ever in there.
Nice.
So at night, if you ever have to study or write a paper at 3 a.m., you can just go right into the classroom. There'll never be anyone there. It's always open.
That's awesome. Well, guys, good luck at conference. We'll be watching, and thanks for stopping by.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome. We'll wrap up the show in a little bit and get to the play of game. We'll be right back on the Cardinal Report. This week's Play the Game takes place 10 feet 11 inches up in the air. Luke Winder is known for his pole vaulting. The guy is a 4-time national champion after all. And in the Cardinal opener, no exception. How about the facility record inside Res Rec, all to his own? The mark also is the highest recorded in Division III this season, and for that, he gets the Play of the Game. That's all the time we have on this edition of the Cardinal Report. Thanks to our guests for stopping by, and thank you for tuning in. I'm Kevin Jackman. We'll see you next time on TCR.